what's up? I'm here at the Roundhouse on the last day of the Mindsweep UK tour with the ever amazing Row and Morrissey. How's life? How are you feeling?
Yeah, really good actually. Surprisingly sprightly for the last day of a lengthy tour.
And have there been any major surprises this tour? Is there anything that you've found in terms of anything that sort of pushed you? Is there any songs that you feel are not as easy as you thought they were going to be? Anything that's really tested you technically?
Well, we had 2 weeks out in Europe before this UK one, and that felt like really getting into the motion of the new tracks and kind of. So it was a lot of. I don't want to say practice because it's not like we just used those 2 weeks to practice the UK. But like, it feels like we're in a good place now. The set feels really solid and well oiled.
In terms of set list, obviously I imagine there's going to be a lot of new album tonight. Has it got a lot harder now making those choices of what to drop and what to put in now? Has it got to the point where you're just like, I really want this in, but I also really want this in, but I've only got X amount of time?
Yeah, completely. Like we had the plan was to like switch around the set list throughout the tour to kind of vary it for people who come into more than one show, but like set list debates just go on and on and on for hours. Like we tried for about 3 days to come up with something, and the only thing we could all agree on was to keep the set like as it is. So yeah, it becomes very difficult. It becomes very difficult.
I know there was a lot of issues with narrowing down the track list as well on the album.
Yeah.
At one point we released a Shikari in the studio that had, I guess, your mood board of what the songs felt like. Can I ask, what was Broiled Beef? Because I've been dying to ask since I first saw
that is unreleased actually.
Yeah, it was too extreme. It was off the chart almost, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Too broiled.
Yeah, well we got a certain way along, like we have recorded a lot of it.
It's pretty much done.
Yeah, it's kind of just on the back burner for now. It'll see the light of day at some point.
Is there ever any scope to have a, because you're very, very close with your fans, obviously you've spoken vehemently about the whole meet and greet VIP packages and people don't pay £25 to touch your balls and stuff like that. Do you feel like there would ever be a point where bands, where you as a band would let fans sort of pick the set list as such? Because I know that you've also got a record saying that Jonny Sniper's dead, like we're never going to hear that again, which is fine. Yeah. But would you ever let Rob's just nodding off camera like, yes, never ever again?
I really like the idea of doing that. I've been wanting to do that for ages, because at the end of the day it's like we live in a democracy, everyone has a vote. So I think people coming to the show, they're going to be the ones experiencing the gig, so in a way I think they should be the ones to pick what songs they hear. Okay. By majority vote decision. But
how do you feel as a frontman on that? Because I imagine, well, all of you must have to feel the front end of that.
Yeah, I agree, but also we've just dropped Sorry Not a Winner, so it's tough because you want to be able to put on a show that's completely fervent and honest and real, and when you've been playing the same song for 11 years every show, you're not in the same frame of mind that you were when you wrote it. You can't give it that energy, that sort of just honesty. So I wouldn't want to get in a position where I'd be playing songs that I wasn't able to give my 100% for. So I think there has to be a bit of both. Yeah.
Maybe like a selection they can choose from in terms of
era
40 songs, pick 25 kind of thing.
Yeah, I think if we were to just give it free reign.
Because I know that I would literally put as many things on there that I'd put like Acid Nation, Kicking Back on the Surface of Your Teeth, like really old stuff.
I would love that.
Really?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Acid Nation is like by far one of my favourite songs ever.
Amazing.
From like when you were playing like tiny clubs in Bedford, Acid Nation's like the one. Like the one. I would love to hear that live again. Because I know that you did the whole Club 100 show and all that kind of stuff. Because I thought maybe you'd do more of a sort of I guess now it's kind of like a really overdone thing, but the whole like anniversary shows of it's been a decade since Take to the Skies or whatever, and you'd go in and be like, we're going to do it in order. Minus Jonny Sniper.
We've got two more years, and then We probably will do exactly that.
Because that'd be so good.
10 years of Tinks this kind of thing.
And you guys have obviously ramped up the light show. And I guess I kind of first noticed a massive change when you did the Warp Tour. You headlined at the Ali Pali. You brought on a metal object at the end to do Solidarity. It's like a very bizarre light cube. Do you remember? What is it? Because I have spent so long being like, what is this object and why does it make such amazing noises?
Yeah, it's just a really ingenious, like, new look at a MIDI controller or even a keyboard. It's just a spherical keyboard, if you like, but it's also touch responsive, so you can get a lot more character into what you're playing, and it feels much more like an organic instrument rather than just hitting keys or pushing buttons.
Obviously, you guys have been touring for a long time. Does it get easier when you're on tour to be away from respective partners and/or cats? And are you ever tempted to bring them with you? Do you ever get the temptation to sort of be like, I might bring her along this time? Might bring her along, make her a roadie for a tour, give her a wrench.
I would love to. I mean, like, I brought my daughter, well, my girlfriend and my sister brought my daughter to Reading Festival last year, and it was one of like the best days of my life. I swear, it was like Reading Festival. It was like, you know, the best, well, like my favourite festival, and then like my family and everything all in one go, and like loads of my friends were there and stuff. And it was just kind of everything was just in one place, and I was like, this is what I need.
Yeah.
Like,
this just on tap.
I don't know how that would happen though, because I mean, really, like my girlfriend, she like hates tour buses. She just like sleeping bugs. She's like, no way. So yeah, so I don't know.
I mean, blame her with the way.
Yeah, exactly. I don't blame her at all either.
What is it like on as you've got older? Do you feel that there's less shenanigans on the tour? Do you feel it's got a little bit more official, or do you still try and keep in the party spirit?
It does sort of. You would have thought it would have sort of calmed down a bit. I mean, it's changed, but there's still tons of shenanigans.
I was going to say, when you did the pop-up shop, some of the photos of Lord Rolf over there.
Yeah.
Just that Japan bar photo is the best thing I've ever seen ever.
I said to it, because I saw it and I was like, oh, obviously posed, because I wasn't actually there. And I was like, yeah, that was posed, right? It's genius. And I was like, no, it wasn't actually posed at all. That just happened. That actually was just what was happening.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Is there anything you feel like you need to? Do you ever have any major prank calls with other bands or anything like that? Do you ever have a certain band like Hacktivist or something like that you always?
Like the first proper tour we did. Well, no, in fact, like back in the day we used to do it, but I don't really know. I think the last time we did it was well, no, we didn't even do anything. Like it was when we were leaving Warp Tour the year before, like a couple of years ago, and what our tour manager was trying to arrange with catering to get like trays with whipped cream in them, you know, like clown pies.
Yeah.
And he got there and they're like, oh no, sorry, we forgot, we don't have any whipped cream. But we have got loads of leftover apple pies. So like, edible apple pie. So we basically got the hot, like all of us, all my guitar, pedal board, everything, like drum kit, covered in this sticky apple pie on like this boiling hot, humid day. It's like,
no.
It's at the end of Warped Tour as well.
So you feel pretty much like you're in some sort of bizarre purgatory, and then someone comes along and just ruins your life some furthermore. Like, here you go. You don't need any of this.
It was quite funny though. Like the stage manager was like this huge. He's called Kenny. Like I don't know. He's a bit of a celeb now, I think, from Warped Tour roadies. But yeah, he's like this huge, scary guy, like, full of tattoos and like and Brown just got his apple pie. He's like chucked it in his face, like right. It was so good to see. It was worth it all for that moment.
Yeah, Kenny's awesome.
Have you done much climbing on this tour? Have you done much running around through bizarre side doors or anything like that? I know that you're a big fan of the whole.
You could try and make it to a balcony, or up a fire exits to somewhere. Or
have you ever fallen? Have you ever had like a really bad fall? Because I don't know, like I know that you are basically a monkey, but there are sometimes I look at it and just go, no.
It's more the stage diving, and not for us, for other bands. That's when I hurt myself. When I get too excited, and you're seeing a smaller band and stage diving, there's only like a few people in front, you just face first into the floor.
I once did fall from the lighting rig, and I would have like seriously hurt myself if like one of the bouncers hadn't just got me, like just like cradled me just as I was going to hit the floor and sort of softened my landing. But I was falling through the air and I was like, this is it. I'm completely fucked up here. And like just before I hit the ground, like I just suddenly slowed down and just like landed really gracefully on the ground. It's like, that was so terrifying. But, yeah.
So you're doing an after party tonight, which Shikari Sound System. It's good to have them back. Big fan. You also do a lot of solo stuff. I know that you've done one official that you brought out, at least with the last album. And you've got obviously Roundhouse underway. How do you have time to sort of still do them? Are you still doing them, or are you kind of very much backburnering them to focus on all this kind of stuff?
I haven't really done anything for a while. This album has just taken over. Like basically all last year, that was all we were doing, writing and recording. But I'm starting to write some acoustic stuff for maybe next year or something. Early days.
Fair enough. And you?
Yeah, I mean, I've just been in album / dad mode. Haven't really done that much, but I mean, there is like on tour there is a lot of free time, like in between like sound checking, between getting up, sound checking, playing a gig, maybe doing an interview or something. There's so much free time, so quite often, yeah, I have a little fiddle about, but I haven't really tried to make anything for a while. So.
Johnny and the Snipers, is there any more Johnny and the Snipers to come, other than that one cover that everyone seems to have fallen over about a long time ago?
Yeah. Every now and again we're like, oh yeah, go, do another one.
Yeah. We started one for arguing like 2 years ago or something. Yeah. Arguing with thermometers, but it never got finished. Hey, hopefully.
Have you got any bizarre rider requests that you've added into this? Because you're always so healthy. I mean, aside from the lack of beer, you're always very healthy.
No, we're pretty.
Oh, these are awesome. I actually ate this whole box other than this one earlier.
Is that because you do that thing where you eat all of the rest, you leave one so you don't look like a fatty?
Exactly. Right. Exactly what. But it's more so I don't feel like one, you know. It's kind of like how you eat a big like burger and chips, and you leave like 2 chips, and you think, yeah, I didn't. I had self-control.
Have you ever got in somewhere and they've just like had something really, really fucking weird that they've just sort of laid out for you, like a native delicacy or anything like that?
Oh man, what was that show in Russia? The festival.
There was a serious look of fear in your eyes just that sort of washed over you.
Literally, it was just a table of food. It was really hot. It was like the middle of summer. So humid. Everything was just had a film of like yellowy sweat over it. And we just didn't know what it was. It was all like just really suspect jelly-like meats and like weird as fuck. So even the eggs were like had this weird off colour. It's just like I think I just had some bread. I was like, that's a cool thing. Okay,
some sweaty bread.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much. You're as gracious as always. And I hope you have a very, very cool rest of the year, whatever you decide to do with it.
Cool. Thanks for having us.
Burn as many election posts down as you can. Get in touch.